Hope you guys are doing well. We're going to do a spelling lesson today. So we have 4 words and we'll just get started. You need paper and a pencil for this, so pause the video if you do not have that with you right now. Okay, our first word that we'll look at today is perceive. Say perceive. So perceive is an action. It's a verb, meaning to take something in and get an understanding. So it's like to gain knowledge and take an opinion about something. This word can also refer to maybe your perception. That's a word that comes from it. You can perceive something differently than somebody else. So it's not like fact set in stone. It's what you've gathered and your opinion on something. Okay, so perceive, arms out as we say the sounds. Perceive, 2 sounds, or 2 syllables, sorry. Perceive, 2 syllables. In the first syllable, what do you hear? P, 2 sounds. The that we're going to use is the of her. Next syllable, s, e, v, 3 sounds. The s sound is going to come from k, s, which makes it second sound because it's followed by e, I, or y. In this case, that e sound is a-e that we do not use at the end of English words. Okay? So it makes that second sound because it's followed by the letter E in that phonogram. Then we have the phonogram V, and we know that English words do not end with U or V, so we are going to have a silent final E, job number 2 at the end of it. Please write perceive. Make sure you sound out those phonograms. Okay. And if you need more time, you can pause. Let's go over the correct spelling. Per, syllable break, s, e, v, silent final E. Check to see if your spelling matches mine. Also, to remember this pattern here, when I was about your age, we had a kind of helpful way to remember whether it's IE or EI, that's I before E, except after C, and when followed, or when sounded as A, as in neighbor or way. So we know like the actual phonograms, and the rule for why it's this pattern is because it's followed by an E, but that's just a little helpful rule too. Okay, let's go through the markings now. So we have the of her, second sound of kus. This is the phonogram A-E that we do not use at the end of English words, and it makes that E sound. So we'll put a 2 on top, and it's a job number 2 for our silent final E because of that V. I know that's a little hard to see in the light, but that's a job number 2. Perceive is a verb. It's an action. Okay, word 2 is probably newer. This might be familiar to you, but for word 2, we are going to have the word precipice. So a precipice is a steep cliff or overhanging. So think of, like steeper than a mountain, almost like a straight drop, very vertical. So this word comes from 2 different Latin roots. No, we haven't done roots in a while, but it comes from the prefix pre, which means before or forward. And it also comes from the Latin word caput, which means head. So this word technically means going forward with your head, or head first. And eventually it came to mean that steep cliff because it's sort of an overhanging. This word can also be used to describe any dangerous situation. So it may be that they thought, this is a precipice because you would not want to go head first down it. It's kind of dark, but I think that is the reason that it became that word meaning the steep cliff. So for this word precipice, let's sound it out. Precipice, 3 syllables. In the first syllable, what do you hear? P, 3 sounds. That is all basic code. Next, s, I, 2 sounds. We're going to have another k, s, saying its second sound just like this. Now, because it's going to be followed by it, I, E. So si, last syllable, what do you hear? P, I, s, 3 sounds. We are going to have another k, s, saying that second sound, And we always need an E, I, or Y after it. So we're going to have a silent final E, job number 3, which it makes say its second sound. Okay, sound out precipice. Remember, we've got 2 phonograms that make that s sound. Precipice. And remember that silent final E at the end as well. Okay. If you need more time, pause the video. Let's go over the correct spelling. P, R, syllable break. S, I, syllable break. P, I, S, silent final E. Job number 3. Precipice. Okay, this is basic code. Here we have a second sound of k, s. I, E is saying its first sound. Even though it's an open syllable, we don't mark it because it is saying its first sound. I need to make those a little darker. Okay. Over here, we have another k, s, saying its second sound. And this is silent, and it's a job number 3. Precipice is a noun. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at a word that is derived from precipice. Precipitation. So precipitation, think of probably in science, because precipitation, currently we usually refer to weather, rain as precipitation. So it still comes from the Latin words pre, meaning forward, and caput, even though it's very different in spelling, meaning head. So precipitation is actually like going head first. And so even though we usually use it to refer to like raindrops or water droplets, just of any kind, it really is just saying, head first. Okay, so precipitation is our word. We're going to sound out precipitation. We're using a "shan" suffix. Precipitation, 5 syllables. Okay, in the first syllable, what do you hear? P, R, E, 3 sounds. It's the same as we have here. A lot of this is going to be the same. Next syllable, what do you hear? S, I, 2 sounds. It's the same as this syllable. Next, what do you hear? P, I, 2 sounds. It's the same as part of this syllable. We're going to remove this part, though. Okay, next is T, A, 2 sounds. That is at a, ah in an open syllable. Precipitate, and then finally shan. Sh, ah, n, 3 sounds. We're going to use sh, tall letter sh, used after a syllable after the first one. And then it's ah, o, oo. The word altogether, precipitation, sounded out as you write. So far all the same as this, but don't look at your spelling. Sound it out and remember which phonograms you use. Precipitation. Okay, let's go over the correct spelling. Precipitation. I know the sun through the window gives it a bit of a glare, so hopefully you can see that. Precipitation. I'm just going to make that a little bolder. Okay. Precipitation. Okay. Some people pronounce this word as precipitation. Our manual actually has you putting a thinking cap on it, but most people that I would know of actually say precipitation with the proper sound of E. Let's move on to this syllable then. We have a k saying its second sound. Nothing there, nothing there. All basic code. Precipitate. A. We've got A saying its name. And then we've got sh, tall letter sh. And thinking cap on a-o-oo, just like usual with that Sean suffix. That's a little better. You know what? I'm going to also bring the computer forward a little bit. Just a moment. Okay, that's better. Also, I forgot, we are going to underline E saying its name there, precipitation. Guys, precipitation is a noun, just like usual with that Sean suffix. It turns it into a noun. Okay, our last word for this week's lesson is commend. Say commend. So commend means like to praise. So you could say, your mom commended you on a job well done in completing all of your work for the week. So it's praise, usually a verbal praise. We think to spell this word as commend. Okay, so let's sound it out as we go through each syllable. There's going to be a silent there that we only say in the second syllable, but it keeps the vowel short. Okay, so Next syllable, and 4 sounds. Okay, so that is basic code, and the second syllable as well. And sound it out as you write. Commend. If you only had one M in this word, it would be commend. So that should help you remember. Commend. Okay, let's go over the spelling. Syllable break. Commend. It's a much better size of font there. Okay, so for markings, we pronounce this word commend. That is not a sound of a-o-oo, so we're going to put a thinking cap on top of it. And this is silent. We only say the second one. Commend. Okay, that is all of our markings. Some of you might think, oh, it sort of sounds like you're saying commend, instead of commend. We'll stick with what the manual says on this one, though. I might just pronounce it a little bit lazier with an I sound there, but it should be commend. So we're not going to do a thinking cap on that. Okay, that is all of your words for the week. Good luck in practicing them. I want you to make sure that you are sounding out each phonogram every time you practice your words. And that includes when we do them in live sessions, but also when you do them on your own. I will talk to you later. Bye.